So the answer came in response to an intent that I had written down. And that intent was, really, how can I be the best possible version of what I came here to be, whatever that is. I don't even know what it is, but however, how can I align myself with that highest possible potential? And I'd written that down. So it starts with your intent. So if you're aligning with the charm's message, if you have an intent for this day, it starts with your intent. That's how the answers come to you, is through that original question. And your big questions are, what's the point? Like, what's my purpose here? What am I here to be? What did I come here to play out? And so the answer came as this disembodied voice, this male voice, and it said, the answer is meditation. And it repeated that 3 times, and it was so loud and so startling and so different that I paid attention to it, to the point where I went home to my stepmother. I was staying with my parents, my dad and my stepmom at the time, and I knew that she had started meditation, so I asked her to guide me through a meditation. And again, I had no idea what meditation was, really. I felt that it was something that robed monks living in mountains with beads did. It wasn't something that ordinary people did, and it certainly wasn't something that somebody like me did. So the answer is meditation. So since then, so what's that, 17, 16 years has passed. And from your soul's perspective that lives outside of our time-space reality, maybe 2 days have passed. But from here where you are now, so it's been quite a journey. So consider that as well, that there's this multi-dimensionality to your nature, and that it goes beyond your current time-space reality. And so if the answer is meditation, what's your question? You came here to have 4 meditations today and to be in a meditative state. So somehow this is the answer to your question. And that question is your intent. And so by putting that intent in the forefront of your mind, your infinite self is aligning and conspiring now to bring you that answer, to manifest that here in this time-space reality. And apparently it takes a little bit of time, because here we are 16, 17 years later. Yeah. So there's something that's always listening. There's something listening to your plea, to your energy, to your heart, to your mind. There's something that's listening. The important thing to consider is that what you are is born into this time-space reality, this world as you understand it. What you are is born into it. So I want you to consider that the consciousness that you are here now, looking out, say, into even this room, is appearing within your conscious awareness. And so your conscious awareness, actually, we could consider that your conscious awareness is the room holding you. That you're appearing within this room, within your own conscious awareness. So we consider that we are what's inside of us, but I'm inviting you for today to consider the outside of us too, and that it's the same actually. This theme is going to keep coming up through the day. It's the same. So that which is within and that which is without is the same. And this will come clear too. We'll get to practice this in a very pointed way in our walk. You'll be going for a walk after lunch. So what you are includes the space, includes the air that you're breathing in. It includes the floor. It includes all the things that are appearing here. It includes the sounds, so the vibrations. Includes the interruptions. It's all included in what you are. Nothing's excluded. And there's a paradox in that. There's a paradox of your being, because in that there's 100% responsibility. There's 100% accountability for your experience in everyday life. And at the same time, there's no responsibility in it whatsoever. That is the paradox. So perhaps that might be something that comes clear too as a funky little truth of our nature. So when we have stress in our lives, it's often because we've forgotten that. We've forgotten that that which is without is me also. That which is out there is me also. So the stress in our lives comes from the perception of separation, the perception of other. And our expectations, our wishes, our expectations of how things should go. But when we're really present, when we're really here in our bodies, what we come to realize is that everything happens perfectly on time, in its own timing. Everybody and you and everything is exactly as it's supposed to be, exactly where you and everything is supposed to be. And that really, if you get very intimate with wherever you are in any given present moment, you'll find that there's only ever 100% inherent and abundant support. In the face of a chaotic experience in your everyday life. So even if you were to pick your 6, 7, 8 stressor, and I liked what you said actually, that it's everyday stress, so it's not necessarily bad stress, it's just life happening as it is. And it's how to navigate that, right? Yeah, I like that a lot. So we have 2 ways of navigation. Yeah. So one way of navigating is to ride the waves. So you get on your buoy, or you sit on your surfboard and you ride the waves. The second way is to go deep. You just dive deep, because there are no waves at the depth of your nature. So if you think of the time in your last 2 weeks, or go back as far as you want to, where the stressor was, around 7, 8. And if you were to think about it in a conscious way, that actually, if you took out the noise, and if you took out your perceptions of the happening, and if you got home here, if you really embodied your body completely, and you really felt the floor, and you really felt the abundance of the air, and you really connected with the breath, and you really came home to the actuality, the reality of that, the actual happening of that moment, probably you'll find that what's truly there, what's actually there, is that foundational support, that unconditional support. And by coming home to that unconditional, abundant support that's inherently here, actually, in your actual reality, through abundance of air to breathe, through the floor that doesn't give way, through the extras of everything that, there's food there that we're not eating, books that we're not reading, crystals we're not using, essential oils we're not smelling. There's more than enough here. So if you were to take out the noise and your perceptions out of that stressful happening, you'd probably find that actually all that's really happening is nothing whatsoever, that you're 100% supported. And if we would take away the noise, the external noise, and the noise of your own thinking, the noise of your own perceptions, you'd probably find actually that there is that inherent peace. So the important thing is to get into your conscious mind that peace never leaves you. The peace is only ever always here. And it's easy to experience that peace when you walk into a room like this with, a community like this. Because your mind can say, yeah, but that's easy. But, when I'm in a classroom of 30 kids, it's that's not so peaceful. When I'm out there in the trenches, So it's understandable, right? I mean, but that's in the waves. But if we really look, and if we get really honest about what's happening in any given moment, the peace is still there. Because even out of the chaos of all the kids talking at once, even in that chaos, those voices, all those voices, that cacophony is arising out of the peace and will eventually die down back into peace. Because the cacophony can't last. That's a temporary state of grace. And so anything that's temporary, that you experience as a temporary state of grace, isn't real. So why would we give energy, why would we give attention to that which is temporary, not here to stay, illusory? Illusory in the way that your mind is making meaning about the experience, making it a stressful one. When just as equally, it could say, this is a symphony right now. This is cacophony as a symphony. This is life singing. This is the way the song goes right now. So peace is here. Peace never leaves. It's always available to you. And I'm really asking you not to take my word for it. I'm really asking you to engage your conscious mind. Really enroll that monkey mind. Look with me. We have proof. The floor is holding you in just the right amount. It's been waiting for you, waiting to support you in this way. The air's been here this whole time, waiting for you. Show it, that proof. So that what's actually happening then is we're reprogramming the wiring of your brain, moving from that reptilian mind, the one that believes in scarcity, the one that is believing that it's being attacked at any given moment, that it's going to lose out at any given moment, that's focused entirely on your physical survival and identifying itself as your physical body. So we're going from that default mode network and now upgrading or going to your original default mode network of, oh, actually this is reality. I'm not making it up. This is why it's proof. It's reality that you are in any given moment 100% supported, safe and held. That's your actual reality in the moment. Because if you were deaf and blind in that moment, if suddenly those senses were taken away from you, you're deaf and blind so that you're hearing vibration. So what? You're always experiencing vibration from that point of view. So the chaos is only ever through your physical senses. It's through your physical senses and then interpreted by that old default mode network. So by enrolling that part of the mind into showing there's proof, we have proof that you're safe and supported and held in this moment, and it's abundant. You're now, creating new neural network pathways so that the mind that's aligned with truth, the one that's laughing at the little, the reptile, that's your answer. That's your answer to your joy. That's your answer to you're living that peace. That's the answer to being a clear channel, to getting your messages purely. Because you've just gone deep into the reality of what is, as it is, not as the mind would tell a story about how it is. So that is what today is. So I'm really glad you're here. And it is an emergency, actually. Because as long as we subscribe to the lies that the dinosaur of the reptilian mind has been telling us, it keeps us from being that which we came here to be. It keeps us distracted and small and scared and not living our true inherent divine purpose and function here. So it is an emergency. Getting ourselves, our psyche, closer and closer to reality as it is. To reality as it is. To reality as it is right now. Not as we think it is. Not through the clouded perception of our inherited archaic mind. We start here with our community, and then you be that for your family of whatever and your community, and exponentially you teach the grace, you teach the truth through the nature of your being.